today. I thought I'd risk it. Hello, nice to see you. Hi. Hello everybody on Facebook. Hello YouTube. I hope you are all very well. Today is going to be a really interesting discussion, I think, all about gut health, specifically related to female cycles. We'll be talking about IBS, all of that to do with any kind of hormonal upset, actually. So that might be a menstrual cycle, perimenopause, menopause, of course. So do keep your questions coming. I'm also going to be talking about travel and sharing some travel tips with you. Those of you who follow me on Instagram may well know that I have been off on my travels. So I started posting yesterday on Instagram, I think around 5 o'clock in the morning, wasn't it, when I set off on my journey. And I had a bit of a quiz to say, where am I? Because I was posting pictures of olive trees, thinking, okay, where are you going to think I am? I could be in Italy, I could be in Spain, I could be in Greece. But no, has anybody guessed where I am? Let me just see. Hi Wendy, hi Katie, nice to see you all. How is everybody? Hi Betty, hi Hilary. Great to see you, thank you. Lots of lovely waves and lots of hearts, thank you. Thank you very much, Rachel. I can see you just popped onto Facebook. So Rachel is our social media manager, and she is going to be putting in all the links on Facebook. So if you want to hop over to Facebook later, I know all you guys on Instagram, if you have got a Facebook account, then it's quite useful because she is able to actually put the live links up there. Hi Claire, nice to see you on Facebook. So that's always very handy to do that. If you forget the links or I talk about something specifically that you want to be able to link to Facebook, obviously we can do that. That is one of the benefits. The downside is that you can't see our guest, because our guest always joins on Instagram. I'm actually sitting here in front of two phones, so it's all technically very complicated. Well, it's not really, but it's a little bit of a juggling act, especially when I'm here on my own and I'm having to kind of sort it all out and juggle Wi-Fi and all of that. Oh, lovely birds around. Don't you, can you hear the bird song? Did I tell you where I was, by the way? Don't think I did I? I'm going to share that in just a moment because I am somewhere special. Great to see you. Just let everybody else join. Hi from Prague. Hi. Well done. Hi, Nikki. Thanks for joining me. No, I'm not in Morocco, although it is quite warm, so it could possibly be Morocco. I've got some friends who've just gone off to Marrakesh, actually, for a long weekend for a party, which is nice. Yeah, AJ Kimball, you got it right. And Shay Slater, you have it right too. And Lydia has it right. No, I'm not in Devon, Ellis. I'm not in Devon. I'd like to be in Devon. I love Devon. You might have seen that I did some bits from Salcombe. When was that? End of last summer, maybe, with our friends down Salcombe Dairy and the crab shed. Lots actually on our website about that. And if you want to see some tutorials of making some of the amazing crab focaccia and crab linguine using the fresh, sustainably caught crab down from Salcombe, then just go over to YouTube, because we've got the demos with the chefs from Crab Shed, which was really nice. It was really fun to go down there and film with them. Now today, just very quickly, I was going to be joined by a special guest by Bimino, never know quite how to pronounce it, these lovely people, but unfortunately they bailed at the last minute, so you've just got me. But luckily I do know a little bit about this, because this is something that I genuinely take on a daily basis, and I give it to my kids, especially my girls, and I'll tell you why in just a moment. And we have got an amazing deal. Oh my goodness, I think this possibly knocks all the other deals out of the park, because you can get up to 45% off. Yeah, you heard that right, 45%. I can see all the hearts coming. Hi, Sophie. Yeah, amazing. So I will talk about that in just a minute. But just to not keep you in suspense any longer, I am in Turkey. Yeah, so well done all those who guessed it. And so I flew to Bodrum very early yesterday morning. And then it was about an hour's drive through amazing scenery, lots of olive trees, down to the coast to a very special area called Kapalanka, where there is this extraordinary festival going on called Harvest. They actually started 7 years ago, and this is the 5th event because they couldn't do the last 2 years because of flipping COVID. But they're all back together now, and it is just a remarkable wellness event. I'm actually going to write about it for the magazine and for online. But just to give you kind of top line, it's a gathering of amazing wellness and well-being experts from all over the world. So later on this afternoon, I'm going to be hearing Dr. Mark Hyman talk, and he's somebody that I followed on Instagram for ages, so I'm very excited about that. And I'm hoping that he's going to be a podcast guest, so I'm going to go and meet him and kind of schmooze and say, come on, you'd love to talk to Earle Wellbeing, wouldn't you? And then we started off yesterday with some breath work with this amazing teacher called Lisa, who has an organisation called Bliss Point. And again, I put a little bit of that on my Instagram, but just to kind of give you an overview of what she was doing. She had us doing this breathing for like 2 hours. And when she said that, I thought, there's no way I'm going to be able to lie here for 2 hours. I mean, you know, my brain, you know how they talk about the monkey brain, where your brain is like hopping from one thing to the other. Well, the way she teaches it is that it quietens your monkey brain and it connects with the frontal lobe here, which is the kind of processing, the doing bit, and it just sort of calms it. And she gives you some really interesting techniques on how to do that. And essentially, and you can try that at home actually if you want to, you kind of sit up straight or you can lie down, which is what we were doing, and put one hand on your tummy and one hand on your chest. And then you take 2 breaths in, the first one through your tummy, and the next one up here, through your chest or your heart, as she describes it. And you have to breathe through your mouth. I found that quite tricky because I normally breathe through my nose. But you breathe in and out through your mouth, and that's what makes it more intense and links into your parasympathetic nervous system. So if you want to try this, in through your tummy or your belly, and then the second breath up through your heart, and then out. So it's like a 3-stage, tummy, heart, out. And she was repeating this over and over again like a mantra, you know, tummy, heart, out. And you have to kind of zone into it. And she says when you start to do it for any length of time, first of all, your brain, the monkey brain, says, oh, this is just stupid, this is daft, you need to stop it. Because it kind of doesn't want you to switch off, it wants you to carry on processing. And then you start to feel physiologically a bit different, and then your brain says, oh, this is weird, not sure I like this, maybe I'm going to stop. And then your brain says, oh, I'm not sure that I feel right, because you can notice some physiological changes. And she describes it as the energy or the chi, the prana, the life force, whatever you want to call it, is really connecting around your body. And I know it all sounds a bit woo-woo, and it is a little bit out there. This whole conference is a bit out there. It's very different from where I was in Switzerland, which was very medical, very evidence-based, you know, lots of clinicians in white coats. You know, this is very, very different. And I think, you know, that's what I love about the world of wellness and well-being, is that you get this enormous variety. And I just feel very fortunate that I can come to different places and kind of share experiences with everybody at home, because there's always something, there's always a really good takeaway from hopefully wherever I am that I can bring back home. So, for example, those of you who follow us on YouTube will have seen that yesterday I posted a YouTube video that I filmed with one of the Michelin-starred chefs at Bad Ragaz in Switzerland, talking about how to make pickled vegetables. You know, and although they are Michelin star, they still can do really simple things using really cheap everyday ingredients, you know, beetroot, carrots, fennel, cabbage, and make them really special and really healthy. And that's what I love about going away and just getting little bits of inspiration and ideas and new techniques that hopefully don't cost a fortune. I mean, breathing is free. Come on, we can all do that. At least I hope we're all doing it. You're in trouble if you're not breathing. And learn simple ways that we can connect. And I think particularly with stress and anxiety, breathing, meditation is just such a powerful way to connect. Anyway, yeah, the breathing made you go dizzy. Interesting. Okay, so it's definitely having an effect. So what I would say, and I'm repeating what Lisa said, is if you do feel that it's having too much of an effect, then just start breathing through your nose, because your nose is less powerful. Okay, so if you want to try it through your nose, so tummy, heart, out, okay? You could still do it out through your mouth if you wanted. So it's that in, out cycle, and you repeat it. And what I think is quite interesting about it is because you're focused on where you're breathing and which bit of the cycle you're doing, your brain actually doesn't have a chance to go off and think, oh my goodness, I mustn't forget that when I'm next in the supermarket, I've got to get that, and who's picking the dog up from the vet, and you know, all that kind of thing just goes for 10, 15, 20 minutes, however long you like. I mean, we did actually do it for about 2 hours in this session. And by the end of it, I hadn't actually realised it had been so long. And I did genuinely start off thinking, there is no way I'm going to be able to do this. Because, you know, I have the monkey brain, like we all do, monkey brain hopping around. Anyway, I think that's relevant to what we're really focusing on today, which is gut health. Because there is this huge connection, as we've talked about before, with IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, anxiety, low mood. It all connects, and the reason it connects physiologically is because we have the vagus nerve. It's the biggest nerve in the body, and that is connecting. It's connecting the brain to the gut. And interestingly, we have neurotransmitters, i.e. brain cells, in the gut. Yeah, they used to think that brain cells were just in the brain. But we now know that we have this neurological pathway, and we have this like a high-speed motorway, super motorway, where we get these transmitters whizzing up and down the whole time. And that's why we have expressions like gut reaction, because often those little brain cells, those little neurotransmitters in our gut, are telling our rational, conscious mind that takes a bit longer to process that something's not quite right. You know, have you ever been in a situation and you think, oh, I sense a bit of danger, or I'm a bit anxious, or not sure about that person, or actually, yeah, this is great, I feel really at home, I feel really comfortable. That is your instinctive nervous system telling the brain what is happening, and that comes from the gut. And that's another reason, really, why we need to protect the gut and look after it and feed our gut microbes so they can benefit the body and they can better serve our brain and our parasympathetic nervous system, not to mention our immune system and processes of inflammation that affect our skin. Thank you very much for commenting on my skin. Yeah, I think, you know, skin, okay, so glowing skin, you know, I've written about this for 30 or more years. Actually, do you know, it's 30 years this year that I published my first book, Vital Oils. And that was very much talking about beauty from within, because we make our own skin cells. You know, what we put on the outside is great, and that's important too, but that's kind of the icing on the cake. What we need to do is get to grips with what's going on inside. And of course, there are other factors at play. Genetics, you know. They do say you have to choose your parents very carefully. So, you know, we are dealt a hand, definitely. And, you know, I was very fortunate to be dealt a good hand with genes with my skin. But then you can actually influence how those genes behave through epigenetics. So epigenetics is where you can work with your genetic variances, your gene expressions, to actually compensate for where they may be a little bit low or not functioning perhaps as well as they might be. So, for example, as I get older, I take collagen, and I didn't take it when I was younger. I wish I'd started taking it earlier, actually, in my 40s, but I didn't start taking it until my 50s, and I've done quite a lot of research into collagen, as you know, and I like the Ingenious Beauty capsules very much because they are evidence-based. They have double-blind, placebo, clinical controlled trials that prove that they do what they're supposed to do. And I think if you're buying these things, which are often expensive, we do have a Liz Loves, by the way, on Ingenious Beauty, which is great. And I use it because, you know, it's great to get a saving. And I do think it genuinely works. So I take them every day. I've got them here. It's my room behind me. And I think that's how I really drill down into what's important, because I look at my bag and I think, okay, so I've got a limited amount of luggage. I'm only here for a few days, so I'm not taking very much. What is actually going to make it into my suitcase? What am I going to really miss if I haven't got it with me? And the Ingenious Beauty capsules are definitely there. I also take NMN from Youth and Earth, And again, that's a substance which helps with energy, with mitochondria, with our cells, our DNA, and we lose it as we age. So I didn't take it when I was younger. I didn't even write about it. Didn't really consider it. You know, you have that exuberance of youth where you just think, yeah, I'm going to live forever. I'm, you know, invincible. And as you get older, particularly for women, and you have hormonal challenges, you realise that that's not necessarily the case. And you do need to invest a bit more in order to stay healthy and strong. And you know me, I'm not a gym bunny, I'm not a skinny mini, I'm not particularly obsessive about anything, I hope. You know, I want to kind of look my best. But I think I've learned to have a little bit of balance, hopefully, with all of that. You know, I've got lines around my eyes. Hey, that's just life, isn't it? So I remember when I was at Badrigaz and I was interviewing the dermatologist last week. And I probably shouldn't say this, but I'll share it anyway. And I said, okay, so what do most people come to you for? And she said, well, it depends on the nationalities. She said, if we get certain countries, I better not say which ones, but certain countries, she said they just want to be completely smooth, you know? They just want to be filled and stretched and lifted and surgically enhanced, so that nothing moves. And, you know, I think, well, really, that's kind of the point of the expression, isn't it? And the face and everything. So, but it's about being glowing, you know, it's about using the right nutrients to get glowing skin. So for me, you know, collagen really important. Using a sunscreen, obviously. Wish I'd done a bit more of that when I was younger. I love laser technology. In fact, last week I had a laser facial with Debbie Thomas. So that's probably why my skin is extra glowing. They're quite expensive. I treat myself twice a year. I go and see her. And that, again, is quite intense, and it helps with skin plumping and rejuvenation. I like things like the microneedling. I do that. I've done intensive courses of that in the past. And I've also got the little microneedle rollers now from Olivia Wilson. I think we've still got a Liz Loves with her, actually. I really enjoyed that, because that's something that you can do at home that's quite simple. Perhaps, Rachel, you can let me know if that's still going. And, oh yeah, and Genius Beauty is 15% off. Nice, with Liz Loves. And Youth and Earth is 20%. So the two things that I get from Youth and Earth, for energy and also for skin and aging, I have the NMN. Don't ask me what it stands for. It's Nucomoninia something or other. And then I also use their glutathione. Glutathione is a sulfur-based supplement, and it tastes absolutely disgusting if you have it on its own. Literally, it tastes like rotten eggs. But they have got a really good mango-flavoured one, which is really good. So it's still not as we get older. You're so true. I'm not quite sure why it's playing up now. Hopefully it will be fine. Hopefully it will stay. Oh dear, was it not the best picture to freeze on? Oh dear, did it look terrible? That's just so awful. I couldn't see that. Yeah, I think it is the internet. I think it is the internet. Hi again, Facebook. I'm sorry about that. Apparently my image, it's probably the same for you guys, froze on Facebook of me looking kind of not my best. Am I back again? That's good. So I was kind of chatting to myself there for a bit, but I did just want to say, because lots of you are asking what I'm wearing, this is Carol McEwen, who's the lovely London-based designer, and I wear a lot of her things because they're just so easy, and she's very exclusive, doesn't even have a website, Carol, so you have to get onto her mailing list. She's on Instagram. I'll pop a link on there a little bit later. Anyway, shall we talk about the main event? Hopefully it won't keep freezing now. Let's see. Good. Rachel says that I'm back. So, talking about gut health, I've kind of already set up the idea, hopefully, that all of us need to protect the microbiota in the gut. And we can do that by eating a huge variety of food. You may have seen, if you looked at my Instagram earlier today over at Lizelle Me, that I posted some of the pictures of the breakfast that they do here at Six Senses, which is the host of the Harvest Festival. It's good, isn't it? Harvest Festival. It's not actually about a harvest festival. It's kind of harvesting all the wellness and sharing it around the world, which is their ambition. And lots of different things. So we do know that our gut bugs love diversity. They love certain plant fibres. and they like the prebiotic foods, which are sometimes quite hard to get, particularly regularly. So when it comes to gut health, there are two things that we need to replenish in our gut. One are the probiotics. So probiotics are the actual little bugs. And I talk to my kids about them. I say they're your friends. They're your friends that live inside you. And you want lots of friends, don't you? We all like having lots of friends, like being popular. So lots of friends. So having a probiotic, I take a daily supplement. This is the one that I take, actually, the Optibac, Everyday Max. I've been taking that since we started learning more about it. This was their new one. I think there's also a discount on that. Maybe, Rachel, you can let me know about Optibac. Yeah, OptibacProbiotics.com. It's only on this supplement, by the way, which handily is the one that I take. It's called Everyday Max, and there's 20% off that one with Liz Loves, so that's a good one to know. So the probiotics are your actual bugs, okay? They're your bacterial flora, your microbiota. And you also find them in different things. So I'll show you, actually, this is a bit of my lunch that I've got in front of me. And this is a typical Greek or Turkish dish, I should say. And it's a little lamb phyllo. It's got some pistachio nuts in there, and importantly, it's served with plain live yogurt. So, you know, having your plain live yogurt or your kefir every day, just a little bit, or more if you like it, is going to help repopulate your beneficial bacteria, particularly with the lactobacillus variety, because that tends to be more in the fermented dairy products. You should also have a bit of fermented kimchi, sauerkraut, all those kind of slightly vinegary, slightly sour foods, because kombucha, for example, because they have a different form of probiotics. So it's about having a wide variety and eating the rainbow, which is what they always talk about. Try and have colourful things. Berries, absolutely fantastic. Carrots, beetroot, you know, colourful red cabbage is a favourite of mine. Chard, all of that stuff. Yeah, I'd love some kimchi right now. Yeah, thank you. Hi, Ali. No, you haven't missed too much, actually. You've missed me freezing in a very unflattering position, so that's quite good. But we're talking about gut health. So I'm live from Turkey if you're watching me in real time, or hi on YouTube if you're watching me on catch up. And then, so that's the probiotics, but there's a really important second part of the dynamic when it comes to our microbiome, and that's the prebiotics. And prebiotics are different. They're not the actual bacteria. They're not the good bugs. Yeah, apple cider vinegar, that's very good. Make sure it's one of the real genuine fermented ones that comes with the mother. It's called the mother, which is like kind of a ginger beer plant. It's the thing that actually grows. It's like the kombucha SCOBY. You know, you need to have the mother in the vinegar. I like Willie's cider vinegar. They do a really good, lots of different flavours. They do a very good one. Or you can make your own. Actually, in my book, The Good Gut Guide, I've got lots of techniques and recipes for making your own good gut food, making your own yogurt, making your own kefir, kimchi, sauerkraut, and making your own apple cider vinegar, literally apples and water, and there's a technique to it, okay? So you don't even have to buy it. It's really cheap and easy to do. So that's the probiotics. So the prebiotics, once you've established your really good colony of your friends, got a nice network of friends going on inside, you have to feed them. Now you have to feed your friends, and this is what I say to my kids all the time. You've got to feed your friends. You know, if you don't look after your friends, you lose them, don't you? They're just going to drift off somewhere else. And the same is true with our gut bugs. And there is actually this battle that goes on inside us, this unconscious battle that we're not aware of, between the good bugs and the bad bugs. Because unfortunately, there are also a lot of bad bugs, bacteria, fungi, viruses, all of that wage war with the good guys. And there's always this ebb and flow, this kind of tussle going on inside us. I kind of often think of it as like a kind of Space Invaders game. You know, who's going to win? So we need to make sure that the good gut bugs are well armed so they can fight off the bad guys. They need good ammunition. And that comes in the form of the prebiotics. So prebiotic fibre, and one of the best prebiotics is the Bimino. So this is what I take. I brought it with me because I really value it. That's my little sachet. And I've actually been waiting, so I thought I'd just show you what it looks like. So I put in my coffee, it doesn't taste of anything, so I just put that in. Sometimes I'll also pop my creatine in there as well. Creatine is really good for muscle mass. I get mine from Strong Nutrients. I think you can pop a link, can't you, Rachel, on Strong Nutrients. And again, they don't really taste, but I find they just dissolve really easily. I've got a nice cup of Turkish coffee here. And I know that by having that every day, because this has been clinically tested, it's evidence-based, definitely works, that I am then giving my good gut bugs the ammunition, the power that they need to then power me through the day. And the studies show that particularly for women, and that was the focus really for today, when we have hormonal changes, estrogen, progesterone, you know, the hormones that really dominate our lives, they have a big impact in what goes on in our gut. And that's why during perimenopause and menopause, you may find that you suddenly become more susceptible to IBS. You know, you suddenly get more bloating for the first time, or you may not be able to eat certain foods, or you might have a real kind of discomfort. And that's because of the shift in hormones. And they have shown, actually, again, clinically, which is why I like the Bimino, is that by having that regularly, you are feeding the good gut bugs that can just help to dampen the inflammation that's caused by the microbiome being disrupted, and everything is just a bit easier. You know, your digestion is easier. Yeah, try that. Jen, if you've got indigestion, what you need to do is just really get your gut health working well. If you look at my Good Gut Guide, for example, there's a 6-week plan that you can follow. And when I wrote that, I gave it to independent testers. I didn't know them. They were actually recruited by my publisher. And they included a doctor, they included somebody who was recovering from cancer, they included somebody who had real problems with the digestive system. And they did the program for 6 weeks, and all of them reported significant benefit. And in fact, you can find those blogs on the Earle Wellbeing website. And they're completely just unbiased testimonials of people who did the program and tried it for themselves. So, Strong Nutrients, thank you very much, Rachel. So I mentioned creatine, which also goes into my coffee, and that's 12% off with Liz Loves. That's Zana Morris, who I did a podcast with recently. So we do know that having a healthy, balanced microbiome is really strongly associated with reduced symptoms of IBS. And I know that we've talked about this before, but IBS is really something that is so prevalent, particularly for midlife women. And actually it can be any time of hormonal change. So you may know somebody who's pregnant, you may have a daughter, granddaughter, friend, you know, who's really suffering, or maybe postnatally. And again, it's because of this shift in hormones, this imbalance that's going on, that is causing this discomfort and this dis-ease. When you think of disease, it is basically unease, dis-ease. And we want to get back into ease, don't we? We want to get rid of the dis bit and focus on well-being. And what I love about things like this is, you know, I do like to eat. I love my food. And it's about adding healthy things back into our diets. You don't have to give anything up. You know, the one thing actually that you do have to limit, before I move on to a different topic, is the sugars. And there's a very good microbiomological reason. Is that a word even? Yeah, I think it is. It is now anyway. So there's a good reason for our microbiomes why we should be cutting back on the refined carbs and the sugars. And that is because they fuel the bad guys. Okay? So it's the bad guys that we don't want to win the battle in the microbiome. We want to equip them with the good stuff. This is their ammunition, okay? This is their daily bread and butter. This is what they need to survive and thrive and grow. Because if you're going to populate yourself with probiotics, you want them to survive, don't you? You want them to, you know, do what they're able to do and not get knocked out by the bad guys. And they now know that sugars are the things that fuel the unhelpful bacteria and fungi and viruses that live in our gut. And that's when you get this imbalance. And if you get an imbalance and you get more of the bad bacteria, you can then get inflammation of the gut, which can lead to leaky gut, because you get little patches of wear and tear, if you like, in the epithelial layer that surrounds the microbiome, which is super thin. It's just one cell thin. So if you disrupt that, then that means that, you know, undigested food particles and gluten molecules and all those things that we can be sensitive to pass then through into the bloodstream. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that our beneficial bacteria is really working for us. So yeah, interesting. Sarah then is saying suffering with perimenopause, also diagnosed with severe diverticulitis and IBS. Yeah, well there's a connection. There's a real connection. You know, do talk to your GP about it. Hopefully your GP knows a little bit about this. If not, you can share the knowledge with them. But yeah, perimenopause. And if you are suffering, you know, do take a look at all the resources and information we've got about HRT, because obviously replacing estrogen is going to have an impact on our gut. And that's something that we don't really talk about, isn't it? You know, you think about HRT, hormone replacement therapy, it's going to help with hot flushes and mood swings and headaches and maybe achy joints and tinnitus in the ears and dry eyes and all of that. But actually we don't often connect the gut and the microbiome with what's going on with our estrogen. So really important to link the two together. Have lots of the probiotics that will help, and then obviously fortify them. Now I should actually mention, I know I said at the beginning that you could get up to 45% off. I should tell you how to do that. Min Katkin says, Bimino is amazing. 25 years of IBS bloating and a flat tum within 1 week on Bimino. That's amazing. 1 week. 25 years of IBS bloating. 1 week of this stuff. Just pop it in your coffee, your tea, whatever. Or you could just drink it in water if you wanted to. Or you sprinkle it on yogurt. You know, really, it doesn't matter how you have it as long as you have it. And you've got a flat tum. Love it. Love getting feedback like that. Okay, so let me tell you, Annie also says, I've been taking the Bimino for a month and it settled my stomach. Brilliant. Bimino, hi Bimino, you're online. That's excellent, answering questions. And you've said you can take Bimino at any time of the day. That's good to know. A lot of users take it in the morning. If you suffer with a sensitive stomach, then try half a sachet first. Great advice. Very good. Yeah, I have a full one. Oh, it's out of stock at Holland & Barrett. Well, that doesn't matter because it's cheaper if you use your discount. And I'll tell you, thank you, Bimino, by the way. Thank you for joining the chat. Okay, so you can either, if you want to try it and just have a one-off, you can get 15% off. Go to their website and you just use the Liz Loves code. Now, when you're using Liz Loves, it's usually all in capitals and all one word run together. Liz Loves, okay, in capitals, because I know some websites are case sensitive. So if you just want to try a pack, see how you get on, you get 15% off, which is a really good deal. However, if you want to subscribe, so for example, if you know that you've tried it already and you love it, you can subscribe through the exclusive link that I'm going to share with you, and then you get 45% off. Isn't that amazing? 45% off. Thank you. I hope it doesn't go out of stock because I need to restock myself. So the link is, I'll read it to you first. I know that, Rachel, you can pop it on Facebook, so that's easy. All my friends here on Instagram, I'll make sure that it goes into the caption that I post at the end of this. But if you want to grab a pencil, then just jot it down, okay? And we'll have it on our website as well. If you go to Liz Loves, that's where you find all the links and everything. So you go to bimino.com. So that's BIMUNO.com. That's the website. Then you do /Liz-Earle-Wellbeing. Okay, Liz-Earle-Wellbeing .list. L-I-S-T. Not quite sure why it's list, but there you go. Bimino.com /Liz-Earle-Wellbeing.list. And you must include that .list bit for it to work, and then you get 45% off. Amazing. So each box like this has got 30 sachets in it, so that's a month's supply. And what I love about them is that actually, you know, you don't need to take the whole box away with you. If you're going away for a weekend, you know, you can just pack a couple of these. Or if you're sending your kids off to uni or whatever, you know, if you're traveling, particularly summer months coming up, then they are very travel friendly. Yeah, amazing, isn't it? Really, really good. So, highly, highly recommended. Can you take it with medication? Yeah, because it's just a food, okay? It's just a food. You know, all these things, people often say, you know, with food supplements, oh, can I take it with medication? And, you know, there are a few very specific ones that you need to be careful of. And I think if you are on any kind of, you know, serious medication, like blood thinners, for example, then there are certain things that it can interact, like grapefruit, for example, will interact with certain medications. But this is just a food. This is just like little bits of fertilizer for your gut bugs. It's like eating lots and lots of plant-based fibre, you know, more than you would ever actually be able to eat yourself. But that's giving your gut bugs the kind of the fertilizer, if you like, to enable them to grow. Does it help with a slow gut, says Lynn? Yeah, absolutely it does. It really does. And I know I have somebody in my family who I won't name because they might get embarrassed, who has a very slow gut, you know, and we're talking like, you know, 3 or 4 days, nothing's happening. And after having the Bimino, it really helps to get things moving along. So yeah, do try it. Do try it. Let me know. Bimino or microbes? Good question, Millie. They're different. Okay, it's not either or. It's hopefully both. So microbes, along with things like Optibac, are probiotics. Okay, probiotics. They are the bacteria. They are the beneficial strains of bacteria that we want. Bimino, on the other hand, is quite unique in that it's the food for those bacteria. So once you've got them, you want to keep them. And the interesting thing is you need to look after them for them to thrive. If you just leave them, and also if you don't top them up, they don't stay forever, unfortunately. You do have to, you know, keep refreshing them, keep replenishing supplies. And then once you've got them, you want to enable them to thrive. You know, think of this war going on inside that we're totally unaware of, except that we might, of course, be getting symptoms, like the bloating, for example, and that shows that the bad bacteria are taking over. You know, they've got their stronghold there, and they are causing inflammation and causing upset. So what we need to do is we need to really fortify the good gut bugs to enable them to thrive, so that we thrive. So, yeah, please... thank you for that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, talk to your GP, definitely. And I know that Bimino, you've got a very good advice team, haven't you, on your website? So you can always DM, you know, send a direct message to the people there, or email, or you've got helplines, you know, with experts, which is really good. Excellent. It's live on the website already. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Okay, so Jane says, I'm taking Simprove at the moment, and I take Bimino alongside it. Or is it better to finish the Simprove first? I would say take both. You know, because they're different things. Simprove is probiotics. You're repopulating your gut. And Bimino, you're feeding your probiotics. So, you know, it's not either or at all. You know, and if you, even if you don't take probiotics, but you are really focused on your good bacteria, you might be making kimchi, you might be having your plain live yogurt and your kefir and your kombucha and lots of different veggies, which is great, and your fermented foods particularly, because that's where we find our probiotics. But you still then need to look after them. Yeah, so you still need something that's going to help it along. Can we get it from food? Yeah, you can get a certain amount of prebiotics, definitely, from food. And they like resistant starch, they like insoluble fibre. But the thing with that Bimino has, which is different, is they have galactolactogosaccharides. I probably haven't said that correctly. Otherwise known as GOS, G-O-S, much easier to say, GOS. And these are, as far as I'm aware, only found in a unique supplement like this. So, and what I like about this is it's evidence-based, because actually you don't know what you're eating, exactly what it contains, or whether you're going to eat it every day. This is just consistent and easy, so that's why I personally would recommend it. So what they've done, I'm just reading from the pack here, they have proven clinically that this, the GOS, reaches the large intestine intact, because a lot of the things that we take get broken down by the stomach acids, because stomach acid is really strong. And a lot of supplements that we take, for example, we know don't actually get down into the large intestine. So you need, if you're going to pay for something, you need to make sure that it's getting where you need it. Secondly, they've proven that it increases gut bifidobacteria in just 7 days. So amazing, which is probably why, who was it who was saying that they saw a difference in their flat tummy in a week? There you go, 7 days is what it says here. And that has actually been tested in independent scientific studies. So, very good. It says here, when taken daily, Bimino works within just 7 days. There you go. Cool. Lots of interesting stuff actually in their packet. I won't get too carried away reading that, but you'll find lots more stuff on their website, I'm sure. So thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for... yeah, I would say, Joe, that you need a probiotic and a prebiotic. That's, you know, kind of bottom line. Essentially, you need your good gut bugs, however you get them, whether you get them from a supplement or whether you're getting them from your kefir or whatever. And then you need to support them. So yeah, definitely. Excellent. Lots. Yeah, chuckling goat kefir, that's a good one too. No, so the 45% off, Chrissy, is from the subscription. So you can either jump straight in and think, do you know what, this sounds amazing, there's nothing not to love, personally, I would say. I'm going to subscribe and get the 45% off. Or, if you're a newbie and you're a bit unsure, you can just get 15% off your first pack. 15% you just need to use Liz Loves on the website normally. If you want the 45% off, you have to use the special code. Okay? Because it's special, it's unique for us. You won't find it anywhere else. Great stuff. I'll repeat it just in case you missed it. Okay, it is bimuno.com, bimuno.com /Liz-Earle-Wellbeing dot, do you remember what comes after the dot? Dot list, L-I-S-T. Okay, bimuno.com /Liz-Earle-Wellbeing dot list. There you go, and that gives you 45% off. It takes you to a special page, a hidden page, secret page on the website. So yeah, that's what that does. And if you want the Optibac Everyday Max, and I do think this is a very good duo actually, because you've got your probiotics that you're repopulating with, and then your prebiotics that you're feeding them with, and then there's 20% off the Optibac Everyday Max, which is a really healthy discount. And that's only on that one product. They've got a whole range of products. It's a great British probiotic brand. I really like Optibac. I've talked about them before for various different things, but they've given us 20% on the Everyday Max. So it's a very good duo. If you have got IBS, if you have got bloating, if you are thinking, you know, my transit time is a bit slow and maybe that's implicated in hormonal changes, then why not try it? You know, I genuinely think you've got nothing to lose and potentially a lot of health to gain. Okay. How would I use kefir, says Christine. Okay, so I take kefir every day. So I managed to find it here on the breakfast table. It's just like sort of fermented, thin yogurt. You can find a tutorial on how to make it on Liz Earle Wellbeing on the website. It's also on YouTube. You can buy it in supermarkets. I try and make it when I can because, you know, if you buy it in supermarkets, invariably it comes in single-use plastic bottles, which I don't like. Although I have found one brand actually in London, in a little deli, that came in glass bottles. But again, you know, there's a lot of transportation and all of that involved with it. But, you know, probably better than the plastics. So yeah, so I have it, usually I pop it in a shake, in a smoothie. So I quite like making a protein shake. So, but other times, you know, if I'm having a bit of granola or a bit of yogurt, then I'll mix it in with yogurt. I am renowned for my Sunday lunches for serving fruit crumble and kefir. It's true. It's not fruit crumble and cream. I do put cream on the table as well. And I often mix, you know, if I have a really delicious homemade crumble, I make a low sugar one. I've got a fantastic recipe. Actually, it's low sugar, it's gluten-free, it's brilliant. I think it might even be vegan, actually. I think it's got coconut oil in it. But anyway, so I make a low sugar fruit crumble with whatever fruit is seasonal and try and get some berries in there. You know, frozen blackberries you can get from a lot of supermarkets. You know, they're relatively inexpensive, a lot cheaper certainly than buying fresh. and you can buy them year round. And so I'll make a crumble, particularly, blackberry and apple's really good, or in the summer I'll make plum. You can do rhubarb crumble at the moment because that's seasonal. And then I use a topping that has a lot of seeds in it, so pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds, ground almonds, flaked almonds, all of that, and oats if you want to make it gluten-free. And then I'll serve that with an organic cream, either double cream or single pouring cream, and then I'll also add, a good generous splash of kefir. And somehow the kefir, like yogurt, it just sort of cuts through some of the sweetness. And it's a great way of just every day getting a little bit of good beneficial gut bugs going on. So, if you have yogurt anyway, just add a bit of kefir into that. If you give your kids smoothies, if they like having yogurt on stuff, on their ice cream even, I am actually notorious at home for putting kefir on just about anything. I think with colitis it is safe, but why don't you I would talk to Bimuno, talk to their experts, and obviously I can't give you medical advice, but talk to your GP as well. Have a look at some of the resources online. I know that lots of people get massive help through their gut issues getting sorted. In fact, the founder of Nourish Kefir, she's another great fab British founder, female founder, she started the Nourish Kefir brand because she had Crohn's. She had really, really chronic Crohn's, and she was a high flyer in the city. She had to leave her job. She was bedridden for at least 2 years. And then a Polish friend came to visit her and took her some kefir, because kefir is very, very popular in Poland. In fact, you can usually find it if you've got a Polish aisle in your supermarket that has, special Polish food for, the Polish community that might be around you. You can often find kefir. It might be not in a very fancy pack and doesn't have, great labelling or whatever, and it's often a lot cheaper and has great gut bugs in it. So anyway, this Polish friend took Deborah some kefir and said, why don't you try this? Because at home, we find it really helps with upsets in the stomach and digestive conditions. And she basically cured herself with kefir. And I podcasted with her. I don't know, Rachel, do you think we can find that episode? Do you think you can pop a link on Facebook to that particular episode? You'll find it on the Earle Wellbeing website anyway. I think if you just look under podcasts and kind of search kefir, it should pop up. Fascinating story, and I think really worth listening to if you or somebody has a serious digestive issue or Crohn's. Do take a listen, because she was completely blown away, having been on high strength medication, as I say, and had to be invalided off work, and with no kind of end in sight for her. And that's why she set up her kefir brand, because she was just evangelical about it. She wanted to share it with the world. And I do think it's helped my skin. I do think having better gut health has made my skin less sensitive. Processes of inflammation are dampened down. So anybody with rosacea, for example, hormonal acne, that can also be calmed, I think, in my experience, with better gut health. Anyway, that's how I use it. That is how I use it. Honestly, if you've got specific, it's a bargain, isn't it, Sue? Yeah, I'm glad you got yours. Absolute bargain. Yeah, if your transit time is too quick, Millie, it can also settle. It just regulates, because there's clearly something that's not right. If your digestion is not good, it's a sign that all is not well with your gut bugs. Definitely worth having a little look at them. I'm glad you like my crumble idea. So before I go, I thought I would share with you a few of just my little travel tips. I've actually recorded a podcast which is going out tomorrow. So if you listen to my Friday 5 podcast of the Earle Wellbeing Show, then you will hear some of the things, because you've been asking all sorts of questions. I think Rachel put a call out on social media for questions about travel. And just a few things I just wanted to share with you that I have brought with me. The first, oh my goodness, I love these. Who else got these? The packing cubes from Total Wardrobe Care. Oh my goodness, where have you been all my life? I did not know that I would love a small zip-up container quite as much as I do this. And you get them in sets. So I've got bigger ones that I've got like my tops and swimwear in. This has got all my smalls in it, so I'm not going to open it and share, but that's all. It kind of just sits in the drawer And it's, you know, when I get back home, it'll just sit in the drawer. So there's no packing, unpacking. I've actually got another one. I meant to bring it, so I left it in the bathroom. A smaller one that's got all my makeup in. Another one that's got all my vitamins in. Love it. So, so easy. And when you unpack, you just kind of take that out and put it in a drawer. Yeah, they are a game changer, Victoria, aren't they? Absolute game changer. And I loved doing the live with Julia, who is the fab female founder of Total Wardrobe Care. She's given us 10% off. So do go and have a look. She is totalwardrobecare.co.uk. Also, anybody who's plagued by moths at the moment, oh my goodness, I gather this is their breeding season, so this is really the time that you need to watch it. She has the most fantastic moth decoys, which are environmentally safe, non-toxic. They absolutely get rid of the moth. They are genius. I have them. I bought them on subscription. I've used them for years, and I have no moth issues. Thank you, Julia. Love it. Total Wardrobe Care. Liz loves, all capitals, all one word, gets you 10% off. And then lastly, something that I was so pleased to have last night. Okay, so last night was really special here at Harvest. I think it's still up on my Instagram, so you might want to go and have a little look. We had an amazing campfire. It was a fire on the beach, and they had this incredible singer from Nigeria who just used her voice and drums. I mean, it was amazing. And I think it might be a full moon, or nearly a full moon. And honestly, I swear there was like an angel hovering behind her. There's a picture of it on my Instagram. Take a look on my stories, because it'll be gone in a few hours. But anyway, the reason why I mention that is I could see large mosquitoes all around, and they love me. They'd be going, oh, okay, guys, she's here. Right, there you go. That's the one that you need to go and eat. But I have with me, my travel sizes at Alfresco. Little tiny mini ones, because I'm only here for a couple of days. I didn't want to bring the whole, big ones I've got at home. This I love. This is the Anti-Bug Bite Super Hydrating Lotion. It's called Plant Power. The smell is amazing. And I think, forever going to associate it with Capablanca, because it's just, I don't know, it's got a really kind of evocative, patchouli, lovely, warm vibe to it. Really, I mean, I'd wear this on its own as a fine fragrance, but the fact that it's been tested to repel the mosquitoes and I have not been bitten, couldn't believe it. I got home late last night into my little room and I thought, oh my goodness, I'm bound to have some lumps and bumps on me, but no. And then the other one is this one, which is the Aqua del Fresco, which was her original one. Little tiny one. Look, I put this in my hand luggage in my cabin bag so that the minute I stepped off the plane, I could spray myself. Because again, they send out the signals to the guys. She's coming, she's getting off the plane, door's opening, there you go and bite her now. So I want to be prepared with that. But it smells lovely. It's like a really fine cologne. So if you haven't got that, yeah, Nikki can't do without Alfresco. And we have a discount. It is 20%. Okay, Liz loves 20%, and their website is alfrescoshop.com. Okay, alfrescoshop.com. Use your Liz loves. So there we go. I hope that today has been somewhat helpful. Don't forget to have your probiotics and then feed your gut bugs once you've got them. And I look forward to being back with you live next week. I'll be back in the UK now. Next week, Tuesday, is my birthday. Not saying that because I'm expecting lots of balloons and cake from everybody, although, that'd be nice. But it's because I'm not doing a live on Tuesday, and that's why. But I am going to do it on Monday. I'm going to do it with Lily, my lovely daughter Lily. And we're going to talk about LED light and cell return and near-infrared light, pain management, obviously a subject that's very close to her heart, fibromyalgia, migraine, all of that. And light for the skin, using light therapeutically. To help regenerate the skin, to boost collagen, elastin, that's something that I do regularly. I couldn't bring the big mask with me because I was just packing really light for this trip. It's a couple of days only, but I have got my neck array. Because I literally don't want to be without that. I'm noticing I'm getting a bit craggy here, so I don't want to have a day away from that. Anyway, we'll be talking all about that on Monday, so please just make a note for your diary. I hope that I don't miss too many of you by not being there on Tuesday, but next week I will be live on Monday back in the UK, and then as normal again on Thursday. Oh, thank you. Lovely. Yeah. So yeah, we're going to save this. Don't worry if you're watching it. If you're coming late, if you're late to class, don't worry. It'll be saved on Instagram and Facebook and always on YouTube. So make sure you're subscribed to YouTube. And go and have a look at that video that I did yesterday from Bad Ragaz in Switzerland. Michelin-starred chef showing us how to pickle vegetables. It's really great. Got lots of techniques to take home with me. Anyway, lots of love to you all. Thank you for being with me today, and I look forward to seeing you next Monday. In the meantime, I'm going to go back to harvest, and I'm going to post more pictures on my Instagram. So I hope you enjoy the journey. Lovely to see you. Thanks for all your hearts. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.